Also, I do separate audio recording, and I don't use the Zoom audio, so you don't care. Why do I tell people this?
Okay.
I tell people stuff, and it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter.
That's why I have
Bless you.
That's why I get a good microphone.
Thank you.
Headphones. Like, should I change the background real quick?
So I only release the video on Patreon. So if you don't want people to see that you have an organized closet on Patreon, then you can close it. But it's totally up to you.
Hey, it's looking nice and organized, so
it is.
I'm okay.
I'm very big on saying things correctly. And then Yemeni American is how I would say that, correct?
Yeah,
okay,
Yemeni American. That's
all right. We're on it. Look at me knowing stuff. Listen,
you are cultured. You are smart.
I'm so awesome. That's it. Interview over. All I need is that soundbite.
Interview's over.
Thank you so much. Oh, hi, you're listening to Service from Hell, a podcast featuring people that are currently in customer service positions or the lucky few that got out and all of the good, bad, and infinitely irritating things that go along with that work. I'm actor, writer, and comic Kate Gaffney, and I'm uniquely qualified to discuss this as I used to work at a very busy and very popular comedy club in Los Angeles, and at least one of you listening right now has probably grabbed me and told me you were ready to order when I was running around like a crazy person. So let's eat. I'd like to welcome our guest, Ahmed Al-kadri. Ahmed is a Yemeni-American comedian based in Los Angeles. As a young child in Dallas, Ahmed dreamed of becoming an accountant, obviously, who doesn't? But his immigrant parents forced him to be a comedian instead. We've heard that before. An improv class in 2016 at Dallas Comedy House started Ahmed on his professional comedic journey, and he's been making people laugh for money ever since. In 2018, Ahmed moved to LA to pursue a career in stand-up. Today, he connects with audiences through funny, heartfelt stories and jokes about those little things in life you have to laugh at. When he's not on stage, you can find Ahmed giving bike tours around Los Angeles and indulging his inner foodie, writing Yelp reviews for new restaurants near Hollywood. Also, Ahmed's website is ahmedlovesbread.com, and I too love bread. In fact, I got an interview at a radio station 100 years ago when I was turning in like 70 resumes a day to different places by finally putting "I eat carbs" in the subject line, and that was the first interview I got. I better know Ahmed from meeting him right now in real time, and he's here today to tell us about his life, his jobs, and to promote his new Special Not Special, which will be live on YouTube on February 24th of 2024, 22424, which I really appreciate because I like numeric weirdness. That's the accountant.
Yeah. I'm all about angel numbers.
Oh, I love it.
It will provide me good luck.
Yeah, it will. So, Ahmed, how proud are your parents of you? How much do you miss being an accountant? What's your favorite part of comedy or filming your special? Tell us all the things.
All right. So, how much of my parents are proud of me? Now, I got a good story for this. Okay. Well, one, my dad died of COVID 2 years ago. However, this is like, it gets sad, but then it gets all like wholesome. But he died 2 years ago. But one of my favorite memories when I, in a weird way, came out to my immigrant parents as a comedian. So it was June of 2017. So it was June of 2017. As I mentioned, I started stand-up and improv like January of 2016, like comedy in general. And I was like getting really good, and I was like falling in love with it. Accountant by day, comedian by night lifestyle. And then June of 2017, I got accepted into a master's program at University of Dallas. The goal was to get my master's and then get my CPA. Now, the day came for signing up for classes. I was like, I can't do it. I don't want to do this. Like, I don't like accounting, which will transition to the second question. But I was like, I'm just going to like keep my job, just work as many jobs as I can, like, and then move on to full-time stand-up. So it was June 18, 2017. I was turning 24 years old / Father's Day, because my birthday falls on Father's Day every once in a while. Yeah. And, my mom made us a cake. We're singing happy birthday. And then they were like, my mom, she said this. She was like, oh, Ahmed, like, and like you're a man now, you have work, you have your degree, you have a good job. We found you a wife or a potential wife. Yeah, this is an arranged marriage story too. So they're like, we found you a woman for you to speak to in Washington that we want you to talk to. Because you know how Arab arranged marriage, it's not like forced, but it's an arranged where it's like the mom sets you up. Yeah. And then I was like, no, Mom, I'm not going to meet her. And my mom was like, what do you mean? And I was like, oh, I'm moving to LA in 1 year from now. And she's like, what do you mean? And she goes, did you find a job in LA? I was like, no, mom, I'm going to pursue comedy. And then like my dad literally like opened his phone and like, oh wow, the news is kind of crazy. Can you believe Trump is the first year is kind of crazy? And then like my brothers are like, oh shit, like shit's about to go down. And then my mom did this thing that immigrant parents do where they speak English just to get a point across. She said, انت قدك رجال ومعك شغل بعدين شي تروح بهدل نفسك. You're not even funny.
Oh my God.
And my brothers were like, ah! Dude, my brothers reacted as if they were on Maury and they heard that they were not the father. Like, they were like, ah! They started flipping tail, dancing.
I'm dying.
Yeah. And my dad's still in the corner like, damn, that's crazy. Trump wants to do the Muslim ban. What's up with that? Like
He won't acknowledge it at all. He's like, that what you just said didn't happen.
Checked out. Anyways, so my mom was flipping out. My mom was just mad because it's like, here's just like your son is doing all the right things that your parents, because it's like, forget Arab culture, Muslim, just like in general, like stand up or in the artistic fields, it's just different, no matter what family you're in, where it's like you go to school, you get a job, and then you get married, and then you have kids. And it's like this step-by-step process, which is so boring to me. So now, like before, so my dad died, but before he after he died, we were at his funeral, and there were people coming up to me. They go, "Oh, you're Ahmed. You're the comedian's son." And this is before my career like started like picking up what it is now. And they were like, "Yeah, your dad at board meetings, he used to play your." I only had one YouTube clip up. Yeah, and it was unlisted, and it was 5 minutes. And he's like, "Oh, he used to play your YouTube." He's like, "Oh, this is Ahmed. This is my son." Like,
This makes me want to sob.
Yeah,
so
yeah. So
sweet.
people would be like, "Oh, like you're the one," like, and he's just like he like my dad, and I know he would be doing this. He would like watch my video after every punchline. My dad would look at the people, see if they're laughing, and then look through.
Oh my gosh, that's so sweet.
Yeah, it was very sweet. And my mom is now. She's not like it's her. It's not that she's supportive, but she's not against it either. It's more like,
Resigned. Yeah.
She's just whatever about it. It's more like, every once in a while she will screenshot something and goes, Ahmed, I don't like this joke. She really doesn't like gay jokes, but whatever.
Oh, that's so funny.
But she doesn't like certain jokes, or she goes, you cuss, don't say fuck. Why do you say, when comedians say fuck or shit, it's not funny. It's not like, she doesn't like curse words at all. And I was like, okay,
my mom's the same way. Did you stop doing it?
Like,
did you start working clean?
It's not that I work clean per se. It's like, I will try to do better in a sense. I will, like, instead of saying, unless I have to say fuck, like it was fucking huge, like for,
emphasis,
description or something, or emphasis.
Yeah.
I'll use it. But for the most part, I try my best to not.
Hold on, I'm listening. Hold on.
Yeah, no worries. You're getting the sun
is driving me fucking crazy. Sorry.
No, I totally. For the people who are just listening, the sun was in her eyes.
Turns out the Earth is moving.
Well, go ahead.
I said the Earth is moving. It's so weird.
Yeah. Wait, you're in LA?
Yeah.
Okay, did you feel the earthquake last?
I sure did.
Friday?
The building I was in kept moving. It was so scary. Yeah, I was not into it.
Yeah, that was a big one.
Was that your first one?
No.
Oh,
I've been living in LA since August of 2018, so I've felt a couple earthquakes since. But this was the first one where me, as a 30-year-old man, I yelled out last Friday. I yelled, "No, not my vision board!"
Ew, now I hate you. We have to end the video.
Oh dear. Oh no.
Oh gosh.
Oh God.
Okay, wait, I want to go back. So you don't necessarily work clean, but like you make yourself earn the curse words like more when you're performing.
Yeah.
I think that's smart.
I just go for funny.
Yeah.
And I like even the special that I'm releasing, it's there's a good amount of clean, but usually at the last like few minutes, I have like 2 3 jokes where I'm like, oh, I'm going there. I'm going real dirty, or the other one I'm going real. Like I don't really go dark. I have a couple dark jokes, but I go a little like bathroom, like penis jerking off jokes or
Sure.
humping jokes. But I earned it.
Yeah.
I try to go for it. Um, I do college gigs here and there. I can work clean.
That's so impressive. There's so many comics who can't, and there is money to be made in the college and the
Yeah.
corporate circuit. I know people turn their noses up at it, but I'm like, you're passing by on money. It's the same thing with doing like opening crowd work for like TV shows and stuff. And I'm like, when people are unwilling to let themselves work clean, I'm like, that's stupid. You are just sitting on money.
And also like people don't realize with colleges, like you just need 10 minutes of squeaky clean, because when you do it, have you done a NACA showcase?
Not yet.
So you do a showcase, and like okay, you submit like a 3 minute, or a 2 minute tape for NACA, and that has to be like super clean. But then when you do your NACA showcase, you only do 10 minutes. You do a pretty clean set, but you could get away with a lot. And now lately the college gigs, knock on wood, hopefully I don't like I don't jinx myself, but for real, like you could get away with a lot. It really just college kids are not dumb. It really depends of like, do you come off as an asshole? Do you come off of like, I mean, me generally, like maybe it's because I'm not punching down.
Yeah.
And if I am punching down, it's like tongue in cheek, like I'm just being silly. Like that's the only time, like I've had a moment where like someone got up and walked off. It was it wasn't even, it was like somewhat of a college gig. It was like this Muslim student association. They like hired me for a gig, and I just said the word penis, and only one girl, she was like, but you could tell like she was so religious. Even the other people were like, yeah, this, like I said the word penis and she like got up and left. But I was like, okay, if you can't handle the word penis, it's like,
You got to look at some things. What's going on? Yeah, you can't filter the
yeah.
world. Was it a Muslim college, or was it like she just was it was the
No,
Muslim
it
students?
was University of Buffalo.
Oh.
It was like this. It was like some Arab Muslim student association, and like I had a great time. It was just like I went a little bit dirty with them because it was under the school board, so I was able to get away with a little bit more. But for the most part, I had a lot of fun with that gig, and I'm about to do some more colleges first week of March. I'm doing like 3 colleges around
Hell yeah.
Wisconsin. I'm pretty excited for that.
Yeah. So are you full-time comedy now? I know it said like that. Okay. So when was because we'll get into your jobs in the next section, but was there a moment besides like, hey mom, I'm moving to LA? Because you didn't tell it. So what with the arranged marriage situation, you were like, that girl, peace. I'm not even going to meet her, or did you end up meeting her?
I didn't meet her at all.
Oh, okay.
I mean, there was no point of meeting a girl with the intentions of getting married, and then I have zero intentions of getting married. No, I'd rather do that in my dating life.
Yeah, sure. Just bomb that way.
But,
Okay.
no, but no, it just I didn't want to meet her, and it's also like me meeting her. It's not just her. I have to like
Meet the family.
I'm like sitting down with her, and like this is how my brother Abdurrahman, or AR, got married. He literally, they went down to Houston. He met his the woman, the lady, and sitting next to her was her father and her uncle, and they were literally just like, what do you do? He was like, I do this for work. I get paid this much. I pray, blah blah blah. It was like yada yada yada. She started asking some questions, like personality questions, and then he answered all those questions. He asked all the questions he needed, and then they're like, okay, cool. And then they got engaged the next week, and I was like, all right.
It's wild to me. What year was that, if you don't mind me asking? I know it's about him.
This was in, Abdurrahman got married 2017. So or late 2016, I think he met her. So like the wedding itself was like January of 2017, but like they did like the engagement, or like
Yeah, they did it quickly.
Yeah, like or like the shaking hands type of my daughter will marry your son type of situation. My dad was with my brother at the time, and they were negotiating like dowry and stuff. And
That's a thing that still happens in the United States. I know it happens in India all the time, but like I was not aware dowry was still.
yeah, it's a big deal. Yeah, actually, like yeah, like so, like let's say, are you married?
No.
Okay, so let's say you and I were to get married, right?
Okay.
And then let's say you and I were to get married, and then I meet your father. Your father and your mother, your family, including you, would ask me for a dowry. And that which is part of because they are like because I'm marrying you and you're part of my family now
Yeah.
type of thing. And which a lot of feminists believe it's like, oh, you're property. I'm like, I want to go that far, but it's like I remember like hearing, well, not just hearing, like it happens a lot. Like growing up in the Muslim community, they'd be like, oh, like they got engaged and then the wedding was called off because the other family would ask like too big of a dowry.
Come on, really?
Yeah. Well,
Wow.
I mean, that's kind of like dodging a bullet, though.
Yeah.
Like because you would meet like some bougie family. I'm not gonna even say like what culture background. You know,
Sure.
it doesn't matter. It's like let's say like a rich family, and they would ask like a huge dowry, or it would be like a guy who comes from a rich family, and then the other like family is like, oh, this is our opportunity to make as much money. Like it's kind of like, yeah, it's kind of crazy. So,
Is it dowry just because I know that in other cultures, at least I can't speak for all, but in India, it can be like a house or food or like a cow.
Right.
What is it strictly financial from?
No, it could be anything. I mean, it really depends on what the family asks. Like back then, during the days like Prophet Muhammad, like they would only ask like a few dates or a few pieces of gold, stuff like that. Like they try to be more minimal,
Sure.
you know, because they're trying to be like, you know, the least minimal requirement or whatever. Like the least you ask for, the more barakah or the more blessing your marriage will be.
Wow.
Which kind of makes sense
Yeah.
because it's like if you're asking, like if let's say, yeah, like if you and I are getting married, and your dad went up to me and he goes, you know what? Just like, you know, just take care of her, you know, give her a couple pieces of gold, stuff like that. You know, yeah, a couple
Yeah.
gold pieces and, you know,
Call it.
go. But for some reason, your dad just really wants to go. But it's like just that, nothing too expensive, you know, and that just proves like something about his character,
Sure.
right? While like if your dad comes up to me, he's like, all right, $25,000, a Tesla. And you're just like, okay, like it just proves how materialistic the family can be. So it's like,
Sure.
it is very interesting. I don't think, actually, I have a funny story. I remember when my brother Abdurrahman was getting married, I think my dad was the one who promised them a huge dowry. My brother was like, why would you do that? My dad's like, I don't know why. I just
said it.
I just said it, blurted out. And my dad's like, may he rest in peace. He was like a very nice guy, very generous guy. So he was like, I don't know what he was thinking. Probably he was just trying to flex, but like, but he asked like a really big amount. My brother's like, what? I mean,
Like, shut up.
paying the dowry, but yeah.
Wow.
I don't know. I'm still like indifferent about marriage. I mean, I don't even have a girlfriend or a victim yet, so we don't have to worry. So we don't have to worry about that.
Okay, wait. I have to move this curtain again. Hold on.
Okay, so for the people listening, the sun is setting. I mean, it's 3:26 right now.
Yeah, how is it setting already? Yeah.
Well,
right.
we're still in winter.
Yeah, we are.
You know, we're gonna lose the light probably like what, 4:30, probably 5.
Oh, this setup, ain't it? Oh, thanks for being patient. This is the most professional
Oh.
podcast you've ever been on. This is as happy as you're gonna be. Hold on. One
worries.
more option. I'm gonna close the full curtain. Oh, that's better. Well, I don't look as
A little bit
diseased.
better.
It's better. Whatever. Fuck it. It's so annoying. I look like
okay.
poor Ahmed. You're able to like pivot and not. It looks like I have some sort of weird skin disease where like I have white stripes all over my face. God bless you.
Yeah, yeah, you look like that character from Braveheart, that little gremlin. You know what I mean?
Thank you.
Yeah. You know what I'm talking about?
Yep,
The one
I
that
sure
has
do.
lupus,
I sure do.
some
It's
weird
rude.
disease.
Yep, you're rude. Okay, so I not to make this all about that, but I'm so curious because you're willing to talk about it. So, in your family, because you are the person that was like, accounting is not for me, and I'm not going to meet this potential mate, and your brother went ahead with an arranged marriage. Did he take the bullet of like, okay, cool, we got one arranged marriage sorted. I'm not going to worry about my.
I would say so. Like my older brother, I mean, he has his own issues. We'll get into that later. Like it's more like drug addiction, stuff like that. And then for me, I think because growing up, I was like, even though I was the second child, I was like, had to be like, okay, we have one son that we could like be proud of, and I was doing all the things. Like I was getting good grades, and I got, I got my degree, and I have a job. So it was just like you're checking all the box because something about like just I'd say like brown communities in general, or just families in general, like they need that. You need to look good on paper because fathers and mothers love to go and be like, yeah, my son graduated. It's not even a brown thing. It's just an American thing, probably.
It's an American thing. It's an American
It's
thing.
an American thing where it's like, oh yeah, my son just graduated from Harvard, and my son, yeah, like you got to look good in paper.
Yeah.
So I was checking up all the boxes until like, I found comedy and comedy. I've always wanted to be a comedian, but like I found like Dallas Comedy House, and it gave me this like blueprint. I started taking improv,
Yeah.
and it gave me this blueprint. Be like, oh my god, I can make this dream happen. Like I can make comedy a career. So
you, as far as the like presenting to another family and having there be an arranged marriage to kind of like culturally continue the lineage, you feel like your mom isn't continuing to push, hey, there's somebody in LA for you to meet.
No.
Oh, that's great.
No,
You're lucky.
no. I mean, if I really asked my mom, she could find me one. But like right now, it'd be hard to as a comedian.
Oh yeah.
Oh my God, Kate, you just made me think. Like, imagine right now I'm trying to marry someone. They're like, "What do you do for work?" I'm like, "Following my dreams."
Where'd you last perform? At an open mic in the middle of North Hollywood. There were 3 people there. You're welcome.
Yeah, but like I'm doing some college gigs, and sometimes I headline off nights, and I'll be selling some tickets. I'm releasing my special. I have a lot of penis material. Check it out. I
love it.
I go to an arranged like marriage meeting, and they literally play my special. I'm like, fuck.
They're 5 minutes in. Your ghost dad flies in and is like, huh? And they're like, no, you gotta go. You gotta get over.
Yeah,
That's
no,
hilarious.
You gotta get it. I really thought about that. Like, if I want to do an arranged marriage, like you have to look good on paper. So
Sure.
It's like I can't, especially with the title of comedian. No, I gotta be a working, like I gotta be a Hudson Minhaj or a Mo Amer.
Yeah. Both prolific comics. Thank you for saying their names correctly. So are you practicing Muslim now, or would you say you're a defunct, or it's not happening anymore?
Okay, so that's a good question. Thank you for asking. I would say, okay, there's 5 pillars of Islam. So there's like Shahada, which is like, you believe that there's only one God and Prophet Muhammad was the last messenger. And then there is Salah, which is your 5 daily prayers. I've been making some of them. I try, but I for sure make the Friday prayer. I know every Friday you have to go to the mosque and pray. Third is Zakah. Ramadan, which is fast, and I do fast every month for Ramadan, which is March 10th through April 10th this year. And I'm very happy because Muslim calendar, we go by the moon, so it shifts back every year. So hopefully by next year we're gonna have like some really short days of fasting. I'm very fortunate.
Yeah.
Because I remember like a couple years ago, when it wasn't too long ago, when Ramadan was in the middle of summer, and you have to fast. Like we'd have to break our
long
fast
ass days.
8 p.m. Yeah.
Okay, and for people, wait, real quick,
then the
before you give
fourth,
us the other
yeah.
two, but for people that don't know, for Ramadan, the practicing Muslims are only fasting when the sun is up until the sun is down. Although that is still a lot harder than people would think. So when he's referencing days being longer, that just means like your stomach is just growling for so much longer, and you're just sick. Like, ugh.
Exactly. Thanks for explaining it
Yeah,
better.
no.
Yeah, like it's I even have a joke about it in my special.
Oh, you
I
do?
go, it's where we fast from sunrise to sunset for 30 days. If you're a Catholic, it's like Lent but taken seriously.
So true.
Yeah, and
Rude,
every
but true.
Catholic who listens, they're
Yeah.
like, it's so true.
That's
They're
so
like,
true.
It's so true.
Oh, I love it. Okay, so give us the other two, the last two.
The last two is pilgrimage, Hajj, which is you go to Saudi Arabia, you do that you circle around that black box. That's the best way to explain it. A little GameCube.
Well, I'm living.
Term. And last is zakat, which is donation. So you have to donate 3% of your wealth after taxes. So 3%, which is not much. So it's just, and you have to donate it to, a mosque or I donate my money to, if I make money, I donate my money to this organization called purehands.org, which my dad, it's a charity that my dad started before he died. But basically, they just focus on Yemen, just aiding, sending doctors, oxygen tanks, water, stuff like that, like necessities over there.
Wow, that's really lovely. We'll put that in the show notes for people to learn some more. I think fans of Friends will totally know Yemen, because that is where Chandler is going to fly, because he thinks he's made up a country name and he just picked a country, and he thinks that what is the name? I can't think
Janice.
of it. Janice, thank you. Janice is going to follow him there, and he's like going to get on the plane. So that's how a lot of people from in the early 2000s.
It's literally my first joke when I say my parents from Yemen, and people go, "Oh, it's where Chandler escaped from Janice on the show Friends," and it always clicks because there's a lot of people that watch Friends. So
I love that.
And now. I also even say a bit where I go, now because of the news, they either feel sorry for me because of CNN News or they're scared of me because of Fox News. So, yeah. So it's
I love it.
Yeah, I mean, we're growing in our repertoire,
Yeah, you are.
our reputation.
Yeah.
But yeah, I and it's crazy because there's like huge Yemeni communities around America. Like they're big in Dearborn,
In
Oakland,
Michigan?
California.
I didn't know that.
Huh?
I didn't know they were big in Michigan.
Yeah, big in the Bay Area, Dearborn, Michigan. Actually, yeah, Dearborn is the largest population of Arabs in general.
I didn't know that.
A lot of Yemenis, Lebanese, Iraqis, like just in general, yeah. Like
Wow.
if you go to Dearborn or Hazarmat, it's like you'll just see stores all written in Arabic.
And you're going to get the best food of your life. That's awesome. Okay.
Yeah, you'll have some really good food there too.
Okay. So I thank you so much for sharing so openly about this. I'm fascinated. So you're doing like 3/4 of what would technically make you an active practicing Muslim. Would that be fair to say?
Yeah.
Okay.
I would say that because I could be better, obviously, but I'm not religious either. Like, I don't know. I'm so like wishy-washy about just religion in general. Cause like even like, okay, like if no matter like whether you're Jewish, Christian, Muslim, like if you're just really religious, you're just like, you're not fun. You're just you're like a hall monitor for God. It's so annoying. You know what I mean? We're like, you can't do that. That's haram. Or like even Christians, like it's so sassy when Christians do it. It's like, I'll pray for you. And you're like, oh, come on.
Bless your heart.
Yeah, bless your heart. You're like, okay, dude. You like go blind from an eye roll.
Hall monitor for God. I wrote that. That's such a good line. Yes. Okay. So you would say, so for your family in general, like you being a comedian and you living in Los Angeles you've had enough of a life where you could give up accounting fully and dive into comedy as your full-time gig, and then giving like tours around LA occasionally. But for the most part, you're a full-time comic. When did that that shift for you? Because nobody starts as a full-time comic.
Yeah, that's a great question. So I again started in like early 2016 improv sketch, moved to LA August 2018. When I first moved here, I was like, I'm never gonna be an accountant anymore. I'm just gonna do comedy. Obviously, just moved to LA, didn't know shit. I learned very quickly, savings, whoop, credit card debt, whoop.
As a comic, what? That does not happen. What are you talking about?
Right. I was, I'm gonna admit it. I was one of those few idiots that moved to LA thinking I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do that. Like, I'm gonna be I'm gonna be working at Laugh Factory. I'm gonna get passed at this club here. I'm gonna be passed. Like, I was literally thinking like, I'm gonna do all this in the span of 1 or 2 years. Like, wow, how naive I was. But quickly was like, okay, I need to get back into accounting. So I was working as a salary professional salary professional consultant. It was SPC. It was like this program under Robert Half. Robert Half is that temp agency.
Oh, okay.
There are big branches around the big cities in America, but like I was under the accounting department. So I was an employee under Robert Half. So I was just this glorified temp where they would. But when I first got the job, they gave me like $21 an hour. It was
to be an account. That's insane. I make more babysitting.
Dude, it was before the pandemic, but I should have asked for more money. They really fucked me on that. And I was just like not.
You didn't know. You don't know what you don't know.
I didn't know, and I was so desperate for money.
Yeah.
I mean, like,
that's real.
I should have negotiated because like. I'm still learning my value. Literally right now, I was doing it. I'm not going to mention the club, but they sent me an email. They go, we'll give you a 50-50 door deal. And I respond back. I was like, I want 60-40. Like, we'll meet you in the middle, 55-45. And I was like, God damn it, I should have asked for 70-30 and they would have given me my 60-40.
Yeah.
But it's just things you learn and I'm still learning. And it's like, I'm still like, I'm not a huge headliner yet. I mean, I'm headlining Thursday nights, Sunday nights at big clubs, and I do weekends at smaller clubs.
Good for you.
Am I very proud of it? Hopefully I'll be Yemeni Kevin Hart one day. That'll happen. I have been lifting weights, so I'll be Yemeni.
Look at you. He's jacked, everybody. I noticed that when you moved the curtain, I was like, shit, he lifts. Good for you.
yeah, thank you. Ever since I saw career blow up, I was like, all right, you know what? We're hitting the gym.
No, I'm beeping out his name. Everybody stop mentioning him on this show. He's from Ohio and he shits all over Ohio. That's where I'm from. And I'm like, anyway, sorry, go ahead. So you're getting.
He's from Ohio?
Yes.
That explains everything.
Fuck off. Okay, now we're done.
I'm kidding.
No, I know.
Yeah,
okay,
actually,
so
big Yemeni community in Cleveland, Ohio, apparently.
Okay. I love Cleveland, so that's awesome. Okay, so you're doing the SPC job as an accountant. You're not getting paid enough. You're like, this isn't so.
They give me like 21 an hour, and I would be like, okay, I'll be employed for like the first one was the Los Angeles Homeless Service Authority, LOS. So I was working as like just a regular bookkeeper there, and then we'll be done with that project after like 2 months, 3 months or so.
Yeah.
And then after I was done, they had me employed they had me employed at this other company called Telesign. It was a tech company, but in between before they gave me that job, I would have like 2-3 weeks of just chilling. They call it bench time, so they would still pay you throughout that time. So that was cool.
That's like dope as hell.
Yeah, and then they would be like, okay, you're working at this company called Telesign. That one was crazy because it was all the way in Marina Del Rey. I was living in North Hollywood, so I had to 2019 was a crazy year for me. I wasn't getting paid enough.
Wait, explain to people what that distance is and how long that actually took to drive. Because people not from LA, that's an enormous drive.
Yeah. From LA to North Hollywood to Marina Del Rey, that's like at least hour and a half commute.
At least one way.
At least, I'm saying at least one way, at least an hour and a half, or 2 hour commute. So it got to a point where I would have to wake up at 6 a.m. just so I could get down to Marina Del Rey, find this LA Fitness that was near the job, just so I could work out there, and then you clock in at like 8 a.m. or 9 a.m. whenever. No, I think I had to clock in at 8 a.m. But yeah.
Ugh. So you do So what's the moment though? Because we'll get into the nitty gritty of like the jobs in order in the next section, but I just want to know, what was the moment where you felt financially free enough to be like, comedy is it?
Sorry. I thought we like skipped to the next section.
Sorry,
okay,
no.
yeah. So accountants, and then after a Robert Half, I became an employee under this fertility company that was working for them for like a year and a half. After that, January of 2021, I started doing TikTok every day. I was like, I'm gonna post every single day. And then I moved late, like a couple months beforehand. My old roommate Ryan moved in, and he was the one that got me into TikTok. So he and I just started doing a bunch of sketches together, and we, like, fortunately, like that's where my following started to grow a lot. It started popping. TikTok started growing, and I was going live, and I was building this community. And then by March 4th of 2022, like comedy was picking up a lot, and that's when I was like, you know what, let me start touring, and maybe I can make some money touring and sell some merch. And I was just like, and I'm gonna be real with you, like I quit right before they could fire me. Does that make sense?
Yep.
Like they were gonna put me on like performance review or like
observation or like plan or whatever.
Something like that. Because I'm gonna be real, like I was getting all these opportunities. I was getting like I got a couple corporate gigs. I got some brand deals. Oh, and this was during the time Instagram was paying. So Meta was paying. So all my Instagram and Facebook reels, they were paying me, and I was getting an extra 1,000 a month from that.
Woo-hoo.
So yeah, through the bonus features. So that was
damn.
Things were looking up. And I was like, you know what? I'm done being an accountant. And I was getting fuck ups after fuck up. Like
you were begging. You're like, somebody let me go from this shit.
Yeah. And I was like, they were like, what is going on? It was all these little mistakes that kept happening. I was making all these little mistakes, and then the little mistakes kept adding up.
You can't do that with money. People get real hot.
You can't do that. And I was working from home too. So it was just so...
You're like, I was doing a TikTok video. I can't fucking pay attention to your
Right, no, straight up. Like I was doing like videos and shit, and then
I love it.
Yeah. I will be real. Like I was focusing so much on like comedy / content creating. It was taking up so much of my time. My actual job.
It's getting in the way.
But, I mean, it was like, and also like you kind of, it's kind of weird, but you kind of know.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yes. Yes.
And I didn't want to. Oh, okay. Now that, like, it's all coming back to me now. I remember going to a comedy show, and it started coming up on my mind. I was like, dude, like, accounting's not working. I think I can make this work.
I love it.
But and then I was telling my friend Isan, and my therapist too. I remember being like, feel like one foot's in accounting, one foot's in comedy, and it's right now. Like, I have to make the leap, otherwise it's going to rip me apart because I'm getting overwhelmed. And one time, I was talking with my friend Isan Ahmad, fellow comedian. And
I just saw him in Austin, gave him a big hug. He's doing great. He's the best.
He's awesome.
Yeah,
he's the best. And he was like, I was telling him about what I was going for, and he was just like, I think it's time, it's time for you to quit your job. Like you're light years ahead of other people. You have a bigger following than some headliners that I know. Like you can do it. And I was like, yeah, but you got to think logically about this. I got to have savings. I got to make sure I'm financially ready. And he was just like, you can only be so logical when you're following your dreams.
Oh, I love that. That's so true.
Yeah.
So wise.
Such a wise boy.
As he fucked off and he's like, I'm moving to Austin. Yeah.
And he was visiting from Austin at the time, but I remember like he gave me some great advice, and I remember quitting my job, and even then that was a struggle too. 2022 was a crazy year for me because touring was a lot harder than I thought. I mean, and I tell everybody that. Like I've been a touring comedian for almost 2 years now. And it's tough. Selling tickets is so fucking hard.
It's a grind.
It is.
Yes.
it's a grind.
Yes.
There's so many variables,
Hmm.
So unless you're like a huge name comedian, where like you could literally book, like right now, John Mulaney, like he found a small theater in Chicago and he booked like some small theater and he sold it out in 1 hour. Like, yeah, he's John Mulaney,
Hmm.
Um, but for me, it's like even like okay, literally like I was booking I'm booking some shows in like if I'm booking shows in the Midwest, right?
Hmm.
I will literally Google like okay, what's the weather like there around like March, April? Because if it's cold enough, it's good. But if it's hot in the Midwest, you're
People aren't
screwed
coming. That's
because
right.
they're not coming. They want to
That's
drink.
right. They want to be outside.
They want to
Yeah.
be outside. They want to go drinking.
Yeah. That's right.
And that's something I learned. Like in Chicago, when it's warm, I got screwed. I went there the first week of May, and that one you're tossing a coin.
Hmm.
You're either it's either going to be extreme snowy weather or the weather is going to be beautiful.
Perfect. Yep.
And it's just so funny when you land in a new city and the weather is beautiful.
You're like, damn
And
it.
you're as a comedian, you're thinking shit, but everyone else is so happy. But it does affect your ticket sales.
It
That's
does.
one.
Hmm.
Um, like social media is the number one way to like promote your shows, but it's also like Facebook ads. It didn't help me at all, and that's something I had to learn the hard way. Facebook ads never helped me. Instagram ads does not help me at
Could
all.
you see the metrics on the back end of like the actual conversion? Like for sure that there was not a correlation between.
Yeah, I was getting
Wow.
like I got like so many clicks on the ticket link of the show I was promoting, but no one, no one came. Like I will get on stage and I would say, anybody came from the Facebook ad?
Good for you for
Silence.
asking. Nothing.
Did anyone know from TikTok? Everyone right TikTok or Facebook or Instagram? Yeah, people will
Wow.
know through social media. That's what I've learned. But then also another thing that I had to learn the hard way was I built a lot of my following in the beginning was from sketches or just phone, you know what I mean,
Yeah.
talking, content, whatever, not actual stand-up clips. So
Oh, I didn't even think about
so
that.
it's like, yeah, they're fans of you, but are they necessarily fans of comedy or
Stand up.
fans of stand-up
Yeah.
comedy shows? So, 2022, I started posting more stand-up, but 2023, I most of my content within the past year is mainly stand-up, not others. I'll still post some sketches here and there. I mean, my friend is meeting me up, and we're about to post some more. We're about to shoot some sketches. I love sketch comedy, no matter what. But here's some other notes that I have, like that I want to pull up. Like, when it comes to bookings, raise prices to $25 a ticket. See if the venue can send you the emails after tickets are sold. Oh yeah, I have an email list, so I'll send emails. Yeah.
That is your most valuable asset. I've gone to many classes about this, and the thing that they say over and over and over and over again, more so than people's handles, more so than anything else, the most valuable asset you will ever have as a working professional, whether you're in entertainment or not, is an email list.
Yep, that's right. And I have, if you go to the listeners out there, but if you go to my Instagram or my TikTok and you hit the link in my bio, it takes you to my beacons. And the first thing up top in the beacons, it's like first name, email, city, and state. I add it into my little Excel spreadsheet. I know I'm an accountant. That's what I do.
But this is why you're light years ahead of so many comics. You're treating it like a business because it is a business.
yeah.
Like,
Oh, it's my job.
Yeah.
Well, that was my mentality. The
From
first day
jump.
I started stand-up comedy, I treated comedy like my job. It was this job that I knew will pay me dividends in the future. Like
Yeah.
I look at everything as a business. Like when I was driving, miles for an open mic or an audition or something, that's me paying my dues.
That's how I
me
feel.
owing comedy $1 million, and this is me paying my debt to comedy. It's let me think. Oh yeah, always book 3 months out. That's the best usually the best time to book a show is 3 months out for the most part. Sometimes they book a year. It depends on the club, but usually 3 months out. This is interesting. This is a good tip too. The best time of the month to send an email is the 6th or through the 14th of the month. So February 6th through February 14th, it's usually the best time, or March 6th through March 14th, or whatever month. from April 6th or April 14th, that's the best time to send emails to comedy clubs to get booked.
Is that just because you've seen the metrics prove that, or there's an actual like reason that that's true?
No, there was like an actual reason. It was a specific agent or a manager slash agent. She told me about this, but she was like,
Thank you folks so much for listening. That's going to do it for us. This is part 1 of 2 with Ahmed Al-kadri. And he was so incredibly generous with his information for new comics and just people in general that care about comedy and don't really understand the process. You got a window into how involved it all is and how when you run it like a business, as he does, it is a lot of work, and you can see why some people burn out and you can see why some people become successful. So Ahmed is well on his way. And in between parts 1 and part 2, between this week and next week, Ahmed's special Not Special will be on YouTube. So please find that and give it a watch. He was so generous with his information. I definitely learned a ton from all that he shared. So yeah, it's just a kind thing to do. Be kind. It's more fun. It's easier. We love it. And remember, if you can't afford to tip, you can't afford to go out. So don't be garbage and be good to people. It's easier that way. We will see you back next week for part 2 with Ahmed Al-kadri. And in the meantime, go watch Special Not Special. Thanks for listening, everybody. Good night.